Everyone talks about Sinaloa, or CJNG, but one cartel shattered the old order and set off a decade of bloodshed in Mexico. They weren't just traffickers, they were kingmakers. And when they turned on El Chapo, everything changed. This is the story of the Beltrán-Leyva Organization and how betrayal, revenge, and a thirst for power rewrote the rules of the drug war. The Beltrán-Leyva brothers, Arturo, Alfredo, Hector, Carlos, and Mario, were born into the business. From the late 90s through the early 2000s, they served as top-tier lieutenants in the Sinaloa Federation, working directly under Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. But they weren't just muscle. They were deeply embedded in Mexico's political, military, and intelligence infrastructure. Need a shipment cleared through customs? The Beltrán-Leyvas had a man for that. Need to shut down a police investigation? They had commanders in their pocket. They controlled key plazas in Morelos, Guerrero, Nayarit, and Mexico State, and were building something powerful, something sovereign. But then, something snapped. In January 2008, Alfredo Beltrán-Leyva, known as El Mochomo, was captured by the Mexican military. To the brothers, this wasn't just a bust, it was a betrayal. They believed El Chapo had sold him out to eliminate competition within the Federation. And just like that, a civil war exploded. Arturo Beltrán-Leyva, the most feared of the brothers, declared war on El Chapo. He orchestrated a campaign of targeted assassinations, including Edgar Millán Gómez, Mexico's top federal police official at the time. The message was loud and clear: you hit one of ours, we'll hit your state. They allied with Los Zetas, blending firepower with intel. This wasn't cartel versus cartel, it was a hybrid war, and the body count exploded. But like all empires built on ego and violence, the Beltrán-Leyva Organization began to unravel. In December 2009, Arturo, known as El Jefe de Jefes, or the boss of bosses, was killed in a dramatic shootout with Mexican Marines in Cuernavaca. The raid was surgical, intelligence-driven, and final. With Arturo gone, Hector attempted to take control, but without his brother's force of personality, the empire fragmented. By 2010, the Beltrán-Leyva cartel no longer existed as a single structure. Instead, it spawned splinter groups like Los Mazatlecos, Los Rojos, Guerreros Unidos. And if those names sound familiar, it's because they're still spilling blood today. The legacy didn't die with the brothers, it metastasized. Guerreros Unidos, one of the offshoots, is tied to one of the darkest stains on Mexico's recent history: the 2014 disappearance of 43 students in Ayotzinapa, a state-sponsored cartel cover-up that shocked the world. Los Rojos continue to operate in central Mexico, running extortion rings, influencing local elections, and engaging in brutal assassinations. Some factions now work under CJNG or operate independently, but the tactics, connections, and ruthlessness all trace back to the Beltrán-Leyva playbook. Even today, local hitmen invoke their name, not out of loyalty, but fear. So here's the question: is it better to deal with one strong cartel or dozens of splinters all fighting for the throne? Because the fall of the Beltrán-Leyvas didn't bring peace, it brought chaos. And that chaos laid the groundwork for what CJNG would become. Don't let the headlines fool you. The war didn't end, it evolved. And understanding the Beltrán-Leyva betrayal is the key to decoding the modern narco state. Let me know your take in the comments. Subscribe to Dominion Risk Intelligence, where we break down global threats without the filters. Stay sharp, stay informed, stay dangerous.